The countdown clock above my head reads 3 minutes and 9 seconds, and every one of those seconds feels like a stone dropping into my chest. I am Priya Osai, junior translator for the Terran Diplomatic Corps, and right now I am standing in a glass conference room while a fleet of alien warships hangs silently over our planet, waiting for a single word from me to decide whether Earth lives in peace or burns in fear. 3 weeks ago, the Vrenental arrived without warning. Their ships are shaped like folded blades, gray and silent, and they do not blink, do not smile, do not raise their voices. They speak in clipped tones through translator devices, and every one of their sentences sounds like a verdict. Their leader, Ambassador Threlkas, stands across the table from me right now, 11 feet tall, plated in shifting gray armor that catches the light like wet stone. "Your species is unstable," Threlkas says, and the translator in my ear turns the alien's windy voice into flat, cold English. "You argue among yourselves. You waste resources on things with no purpose. We cannot ally with a species we cannot predict." Behind me, Captain Alina Brooks grips the edge of the table so hard her knuckles turn white. She is the highest-ranking officer in the room, and she has spent 9 days trying to convince these beings that humanity deserves a chance. 9 days of failure. The fleet above us has already started moving into a formation that our analysts call, without any comfort at all, a containment pattern. "Ambassador," Alina says, her voice steady even though I can see her hand shaking slightly at her side, "we are asking for 3 more minutes." "You have had 9 days, Threlkas answers. "Time is not the problem. Understanding is the problem. You cannot explain yourselves, and a species that cannot explain itself cannot be trusted with power." The clock ticks down, 2 minutes 50. My mind is racing through every argument we tried this week. Poetry, history, sacrifice. Nothing landed. To the Vrenental, every human trait sounds like a contradiction, and contradictions terrify them more than weapons ever could. That is when my laptop screen lights up beside me. I had forgotten to close it during the last recess, and now, in front of the most important diplomatic meeting in human history, a video window is still playing on a loop. It shows a small orange cat attempting, for the 4th time, to jump onto a wooden shelf. He misses. He slides backward into a laundry basket with his ears flattened and his tail puffed out in pure embarrassment. I reach to slam the laptop shut, my face burning, but Threlkas raises one plated hand. "Wait," the ambassador says. "What is that creature doing?" My heart stops for a second. 2 minutes 20 seconds left on the clock, a fleet of warships above my city, and an alien ambassador is asking me about a cat named Mr. Whiskerface. "He is trying to jump onto that shelf," I say carefully, unsure if this is the end of everything or the strangest opening I have ever been handed. "He keeps missing." "Play it again," Threlkas says. I glance at Alina. She gives me the smallest nod, the kind that says we have nothing left to lose. I press play. Mr. Whiskerface leaps, misses again, and this time knocks a small potted plant off the shelf directly onto his own head. He freezes, blinking, covered in dirt, looking utterly betrayed by gravity itself. A sound comes out of Threlkas that I have never heard from a Vrenental before. Sharp, short, rising in pitch. My translator flashes a warning across my vision. Unknown vocalization detected, unable to classify. It is not a malfunction, it is a laugh. 2 of the other Vrenental delegates drift closer, drawn by the sound, their armored heads tilting at identical angles. 1 minute 50 seconds left. I am sweating through my uniform, but something in the room has shifted, like a held breath finally released. "Play it again," Threlkas repeats, and this time there is something almost eager in the flat translated voice. I play it again, and again. Each time the small alien crowd around my screen grows, a creature covered in dirt, betrayed by a shelf, filmed by someone who clearly loved him enough to keep the camera rolling instead of helping him. 1 minute 10 seconds. Alina leans toward me, whispering that I need to say something, anything, to use this moment before the clock runs out and the fleet decides for us. I stand up. My legs feel unsteady, but my voice comes out clear. Ambassador, this is Mr. Whiskerface. He belongs to a family in a small town called Millbrook. He provides no resources. He solves no problems. He is, by every measure your species uses, completely inefficient. And yet an entire family loves him. Millions of strangers who have never met him love him too. We do not love him because he is useful. We love him because he is honest. He fails in front of everyone, and he does not pretend otherwise. And somehow that failure makes us feel less alone in our own mistakes. Threlkas goes very still. 50 seconds left on the clock. I keep talking because stopping now feels like signing a death sentence for everyone I have ever known. You called us unstable because we contradict ourselves, but that contradiction is not a flaw, Ambassador. It is the whole reason we create art, tell jokes, forgive each other, and keep trying even when we fail. A cat falling off a shelf should mean nothing. Instead, it means everything, because it reminds us that trying, even badly, matters more than never trying at all. 30 seconds. The room is silent except for the low hum of the ship's engines far above us. Threlkas looks at the frozen image of Mr. Whiskerface, dirt on his fur, eyes wide with wounded dignity, and then looks back at me. This is the first honest thing your species has shown us in 9 days, the ambassador says quietly. 15 seconds. My chest is so tight I can barely breathe. Alina's hand finds my shoulder, steadying me, or maybe steadying herself. Ambassador, she says, we are not asking you to trust our weapons or our governments. We are asking you to trust that a species capable of loving something so small, so useless, so imperfect, is not a species that wants to destroy anyone. 5 seconds, 4, 3. Threlkas raises a hand toward the ceiling, toward the fleet none of us can see, but all of us can feel pressing down on the sky. The countdown clock freezes at 2 seconds and does not move again. Stand down the formation, Threlkas says, not to us but to some unseen command channel. The words echo strangely in the sudden quiet of the room. Contact has been made. Negotiations continue. I sit down so fast my knees give out beneath me, and Alina catches my arm before I hit the floor. Around us, the other Vrenental delegates are still watching the frozen image of a small, dirt-covered cat, and one of them makes that same sharp, rising sound again. Another laugh. It spreads through the room like something contagious, something that no translator could have predicted a single hour ago. Over the following days, everything changes. Negotiations that had crawled for 9 days move forward within hours. Trade agreements are signed. Technology exchange terms are drafted and approved. But Threlkas insists on one final addition before the treaty is complete, an addition that makes every senior diplomat in the building stare at each other in complete disbelief. The clause states that both sides agree to an ongoing exchange of recorded media showing animals, particularly cats, failing at simple tasks in harmless and amusing ways. The official name given to this category, translated directly from the Vrenental language, is glorious imperfection media. Nobody in the history of diplomacy has ever had to read a clause like that aloud with a straight face, and I certainly do not manage it without laughing halfway through. Mr. Whiskerface, still completely unaware that he has just prevented what could have been the first interstellar conflict in human history, becomes something of a legend. The Vrenental request more footage of him specifically, and within weeks he has an honorary title among their people that roughly translates to First Ambassador of Glorious Failure. Letters and gifts arrive from places that, until a month ago, none of us knew existed. A family in Millbrook receives a shipment of strange, beautifully carved containers filled with treats that their veterinarian later confirms are, remarkably, safe and nutritious for cats. As for me, I am given a formal commendation, a promotion I never expected, and a joke that follows me around the office for the rest of my career, that I saved the planet because I forgot to close my laptop. Elena tells me privately, weeks later, over coffee in a quiet corner of headquarters, that she has never been more grateful for a mistake in her entire life. I think about that countdown clock often, the way it froze at 2 seconds, the way the whole future of our species balanced for a moment on something as small and strange as a cat missing a jump. We spent 9 days trying to prove our worth through strength and reason, and none of it worked. What worked was showing them the truth, messy and imperfect, exactly as it is. Mr. Whiskerface, for his part, remains completely unbothered by his new fame. He still has not managed to land that jump. Every evening, according to the family who loves him, he sits below that same shelf, tail flicking, staring upward with quiet determination, ready to fail again tomorrow, and somehow, that is the most human thing I have ever known.